That is not good. Okay, guys, we'll be live on Zoom or on YouTube here in just a minute. I have to send it to Diane. Did you?
Nope, I didn't.
There we go. Okay.
All right, excellent.
Okay. Good evening, everybody. Hello. We are trying to get going. Linda, where's your sidekick? Where's Rob at? There he is. He over there? He's got baby in the corner too.
No, he's downstairs.
Is he? All right. Well, welcome everybody. We are gonna go. We're live on Facebook or
YouTube,
but
not Facebook.
Not Facebook. We're gonna get that one figured out yet. We got the program to do it, but we are not that far yet. But we're gonna get there. So we'll check in for this week. Everybody, bring you any questions that you have. We'll go through any struggles, any wins, anything like that. We'll get through. Some of us that are in our new group, we're having a good time in the app trying to figure it out. We're going to get it better one step at a time as we go, but hopefully it'll keep getting better and better. So we are having family stuff this weekend. So to fill you in, sometimes we just got to go with the season. We got to go with whatever is getting thrown at us. And we've had family functions, some blessings beyond measure of getting to sit around the table with my daughter and my girls. And it's just been a blessing in the making. And it's one of those things, I wasn't giving up that opportunity to start a fast. So it was one of those going with life right now. It is what it is. So we're just going to go with it, do the best we can do and regroup and pick up where we can. And I think that's kind of the theory and the lesson that we're going to kind of go on is sometimes you just got to go with it and not making excuses for ourselves, but literally it is what it is, kind of thing. So we're all going to get there. I'm doing okay. Lance
I'm doing okay.
We-
It's just for some reason, it's just I'm not getting into it.
We're struggling getting into the fast. Usually we get into that rhythm of the 72s, and that's where we feel good. And we're just struggling getting there. So we're kind of right along with you. We're working through the issues one step at a time, one day at a time, but it's not. It's a process that we all have to work through. And sometimes it goes easy and it flows. And other times it's like
it's struggle bus USA
every day. So we're driving right along. So come on in, tell us how you're doing. Any questions, any struggles, any wins? Somebody has to have some wins this week. So Wayne, come on in, tell us how you're doing. Fill us in, get started.
All right. Well, for the last week, I've been consistently doing a lot of things I hadn't been doing for a while. I'm tracking my numbers every morning.
Good.
The app helps motivate that, knowing somebody else is looking at that and could hold me accountable if they wanted to. I've been tracking my food, and starting last week, I shifted my eating window. Well, first I closed it up some. I mean, it was completely wide open. So I got it down to under 6 hours, probably more like 5.5 hours. And I did that by changing when I'm eating as well, by eating a breakfast and eating a lunch. My larger meal I'm doing in the morning at breakfast time, non-traditional breakfast foods, hamburg patties, and well, not completely non-traditional because there's some bacon thrown in there too, but hamburger patties with bacon and cheese and stuff like that, and then a fat coffee. I mean, that's one way for people to, if they say they don't want to give up their fat coffee, just open up your eating window then.
Yep.
And then you can close it earlier, and that's, we're told, is the better way of doing it anyways.
It is.
So I had events over the weekend, so I just said, well, I'm going to keep my eating window short, so I don't eat in the mornings those days. And I, started in the afternoon and had a dinner where I made the better choices that I could make and just had similar eating window. And those were days, okay, I didn't close my eating window early. And so that was 2 out of 7 days. So again, not perfect, but that's,
Navigating
that's the
through
way
it.
life goes.
Yeah. That's really what we all have to conquer is navigating through it. And Wayne's getting to be a pro at it. He runs a business, he's a golfer with social activities and stuff like that. I mean, there's a lot of things going on for everybody, and you've got to learn to navigate your life. You got to learn how to, when can you push, when can you make it better, and when do you just have to go with it? And I love that, Wayne, you're learning to do that, and it's becoming second nature to you. Also, even as a veteran, I think even all of us veterans that are on here, we can say sometimes you just got to shoot clean up. Sometimes just getting that eating window, pay attention to the eating window. I know I opened back up, put the cream back in my coffee, open my window back up, and just act like I don't know what I'm doing. And it's like just being accountable. Like you said, putting those numbers in the app and everything. It's just kind of neat when I go to check you guys. It's like I've got my window opened out too far too. So it's one of those, we all got to shoot clean up once in a while. And it's just part of the program. I mean, that's the beauty of learning how to do it right as you can. So
Yeah, and I mean, the numbers showed improvement. I think I put them on the Facebook post this morning. I think last Monday was very early on with getting back into routine, and I was 120 something and 0.3 or 0.4. And this morning I was 104 and 0.7.
Yeah.
And that's coming off of a weekend,
Yeah.
So usually, it's harder to be, and it was harder to follow my routine on a weekend. And again, I didn't because I had a later eating window, but yesterday I got back into the routine. So my numbers after a week showed some significant improvement. And that's another thing for people to take away. My improvement was comparing my numbers to what they were last week. It wasn't comparing to anybody else's. I'm still over 100 in my morning glucose. I anticipate that I probably will for quite a while, until I really can get it back into some 72-hour fasts. And that's just not where I am right now. So that's fine. But keep track of your own numbers and compare your numbers to what they were. If they're getting worse or not getting better, then okay, then you got to do something about it.
Yep. Yeah. Tighten that window up. And again, it's not competing against anybody but yourself. And that's where the progression comes in, and your health, because your healing is going to show in those numbers. So you may be able to just idle right now. If it's not the time frame to push, then it's the time to just idle through it. And that's what you got to do. But that does not mean go backwards. It doesn't mean jump off the rails. It just means you tighten up that eating window, whatever you need to do, you stay there, but you still track your progress. So you know what you're doing.
Yep.
And you know how far off are you getting. That's another thing, is it's a rude awakening when you're checking and monitoring. And it's like, oh, I just added a little bit of cream in my morning coffee, or I've just opened that eating window up a couple hours, and it sounds like no big deal, until you start checking your numbers and realize you're progressively creeping back up in that glucose, and those ketones will progressively start dropping. So good job, Wayne. That's just
But the other thing to take away from that too is if you've already got your body acclimated and maybe it's forgotten a little bit, when you, as you say, get off the rails a little bit, it's only been a week and I've already shown some pretty significant improvement. So as long as you didn't go, just completely off the rails for months and months at a time, you're going to snap back a lot faster than it was the first time around.
Yep. And just know what that says with Wayne saying he's getting back on track within a week. That, when we first started the program, would have taken many weeks to accomplish and get back. So that says how much improvement his metabolic health is. He's able to flex out and flex back in. He's able to get back up. Usually when we begin this, and most of us that are so metabolically broken when we first begin, if we'd get off the rails like that, it would take weeks and weeks and sometimes a month or two to get back on in a rhythm like that. So that speaks volumes for where his metabolic health was a year ago and where he's at today. And again, that's just that progression of consistency and sticking with it and doing the best you can do at every season of life. It's not perfection. It is do the best you can do. And that's okay. It's not a make an excuse for yourself. It doesn't say, oh, I just want this. So that's an excuse. But sometimes life is just tough, and you got to learn to go with the flow in that and work through it the best you can. Sometimes it's okay. And sometimes it's hard.
Yep.
It's just tough. And whether it's life kicking you in the teeth, emotions, you're talking family stuff, you're talking health issues, you're talking just everything right now. It's just, you got to play with it and pertain to your actual life and be able to do that. So good job, Wayne. Tell Miss Vicky we miss her. She doing okay?
I'm listening.
She's
Okay,
over
good.
there
There she is in the
listening.
background.
There she is. Hi, Vicky. We all miss you. Come and say hi.
I miss you guys too. I'm right here, but you don't want to see my ugly face, so thank you.
Yes, we do. We love you.
Oh, good job, Wayne. Keep it up, brother.
Yes, keep going. All right, come on in, Linda and Rob. Let me know how you're doing. Hey, there you go.
Yay!
Hey, look
All
at
right.
you.
I heard the comment, where's your sidekick? I was downstairs.
And you had to run.
You have to come and see us, right?
I'm coming. But anyway, we know what we need to do. We're in the midst of just getting ready for a bombardment of family. Last
Still.
week was
Yeah.
Vacation Bible School, so that
Aw,
just
sweet.
threw everything off, but it was an
Yeah.
awesome time.
Good.
Nice.
But in the midst of that, we're somewhat following at this point. And
Okay.
even with that, Linda's numbers have not been terrible.
Well, no,
Nice.
they have.
Well, maybe in your opinion, and like what Wayne was saying, just comparing what they are now, even though she thinks they're bad, they are so much better than what they were a year ago.
There you
And
go.
she knows what to do to get back into the rhythm of things. And it won't be that hard because we are somewhat following it.
That doesn't work. But yeah, and I'm trying to stay accountable just with my numbers and some other things that I do for myself, things that I read and put into my head and quotes that I like that encourage me,
Good.
That helps a lot.
So I'm really just trying to get my head back in there. And I think after the kids are gone, that'll be a big,
Yeah, well.
I know the coming in, they're going to be a big,
I think there's a lot to be said for that, Linda, is you're getting ready to be bombarded with a whole lot of love and oxytocin going on. So take that as a win, enjoy every minute of it, and know when they leave, then it's time for you to get back, do the best you can do through it. Have the meat options, have those fatty dips, you're going to have all those foods around you, have some cheese, have, some meat sticks, have the eggs and bacon ready, have all the things that you can still sit at the table with them every time everybody's wanting to eat, or if you're just standing there cooking for everybody, have options for you available and ready to do the best you can do and, go with it, but enjoy the family. And again, it's one of those look up from the plate. It is not about the food on your plate right now. It's about those people that you're going to get to love on, that are going to be sitting around your supper table, that God is going to bless with you, that it don't get any better than that. So don't beat yourself up and cherish every moment of it. And as soon as they walk out the door, we'll kick your butt and get you right back on track.
Yeah. Deal.
We can do that. So that's easy enough. You know how to do this. Glide through this. Just take it and one step at a time. Do not stress over it. Don't even worry about it. Make good options. Have options available. Have your options ready for you so you can do that the best you can and go with it. It's the best. I mean, same thing. We have to take our own medicine. Had my girls here. We had big old ribeyes and did the best we fed everybody steaks and did the best we could do. But you know what? I'm going to enjoy it. I'm going to be with my girls. And it was one of those fast or sit at the supper table with my kids. Not an option.
She was cooking.
We were cooking away. So we were just blessed, and that's how we show love. So go show love to all those kids you love and enjoy every minute of it. You deserve it.
Oh, yeah.
yeah, it doesn't happen too often. So,
Right.
Good.
Just to get everybody under one roof anymore is a national
Challenge.
Everybody's schedules. It's like the kids have bigger schedules than the adults anymore. So
yeah.
it's
That and school schedules, nothing's standard.
no.
Yep.
it's almost like a purposeful plan to keep people from getting together.
Is I think we ought to put more value about family getting together and holding it that way. It's just nice. Get there.
Yep.
Good job.
Good
Stay the
job,
course.
guys.
Enjoy every minute of it. So.
Yep.
So come on in, Laura. You want to come and jump in and say hi? Come tell us how you're doing. We've got you muted. There we go.
Hi.
Hi, Lori.
I'm a couple of months in.
Nice.
I'm almost starting to cry from what you guys are talking about. I had a heart attack at 53,
Oh my.
right? I had a major cardiac event. Came from part of it came from a respiratory virus long before COVID ever came along. But it attacked my heart. And I became the perfect cardiac patient. My cardiologist loved me. I did everything he said to do. I followed the diets very strictly. I lost 20 pounds and then remained 40 pounds overweight. And that's been 7 years.
Wow.
And I haven't been able to lose them no matter. And I finally, I mean, there came a point a couple of years ago where I said, forget this, I'm done. It's just, if the weight's not ever going to come off, that's okay. So I don't care. So then a year ago, I started having some other issues and I found out I had some internal bleeding. They didn't know why. And they finally just recently discovered that I had a very large hiatal hernia. 60% of my stomach had come through my diaphragm,
Ooh.
which apparently is not supposed to ever happen.
No.
So when I went to see the surgeon, he said, the best thing you can do is if you can get some weight off. And he gave me 2 months before surgery. And he said, if you can get some weight off, it would be great. Okay, give me a diet. What do you want me to do? I'll follow the rules. If you tell me the rules, I'll follow the rules. And he said, almost no carbs and no sugar whatsoever. And I was like, what? Well, I have a very close friend who has been trying to get me into keto and or carnivore for about 3 years. And I have shoved her, and she's my pastor's wife on top of that. So I'm polite, but I shove her.
Wow.
And I called her and I said, you're going to be so happy. And she goes, the surgeon told you. And I said, yeah. So I said, what do I do? And she said, to get it off quick, she said, I recommend carnivore. She said, don't do keto yet. You just don't have the time. So I went carnivore for 25 days,
Nice.
took off 13 pounds. My surgeon was thrilled. He said, nobody ever listens to me.
Right.
So I did it. And after the surgery, one of the things he had told me was your liver, the big deal was liver inflammation. And that was why he said, take off the weight. And he told me after the surgery, he said, you had a lot of inflammation. And he said, and I was really concerned about that because that's an issue apparently. And he said, your liver was absolutely picture perfect. He said, you had completely reduced the inflammation. Everything was wonderful. So I just got the okay from the doctor to go back to kind of normal. I almost cried when they showed me the diet for after surgery. It's nothing but carbs and sugar. And I was like, I just spent 25 days having none of these things. And now you're telling me to eat Jell-O, you know, and all these other things.
Margarine.
Right. And margarine. So, but my friend, she coached me through all of that. And she said, forget all of that. She said, she hooked me up with drboz and keto chow meal replacements. And she said, you're not really going to be able to eat solid food anyway. Do those. It's a keto option. It'll keep you going. And I've done those. And I've eaten a lot of eggs and a lot of bacon. And yeah. And now I'm back on more solid food. So I'm starting. So I'm in a weird place with this though, because I haven't started doing the keto mojo glucose, but I'd been peeing on the stick. So it's like, I'm just not quite sure. It's like, I'm not in week 1, but I'm not really sure where I am in the process.
How big is your eating window?
I'm doing the 2 meals a day and I'm trying to keep that window like 6 to 8 hours.
Okay.
Is what, I mean, that's what I did when I did the carnivore for 25 days.
Like
and
a 16 and 8.
Yeah. So when the doctor gave me the go ahead to go back to not, because I was supposed to be eating like 6 times a day, very small meals.
Mhm.
I didn't do that because honestly, I didn't want it. With what I was eating, I didn't need it. But my window was a whole lot bigger. But in the past 3 days, I've taken it back down to like I eat somewhere between 10 and 5, somewhere around, something like that, and cut it off. I was late this evening. My window, well, I didn't start until later. So my window ended later today. I was finishing a meal replacement shake this evening.
Mhm. Well, first thing I want to say to you is you need to go hug your pastor's
Yes.
wife, and kudos for sticking by you and pushing you through that and getting
Yeah,
on the right track. So, and I just
She
want to
is my
say
favorite person.
blessings that you're here. I
Yeah.
don't know how much of my story you know, but I had a heart attack last year coming home from KetoCon at
Oh,
56
no, I didn't see
years
that.
old. So,
Oh, okay. Oh my gosh.
we're all on this journey together, and you are right. It's maddening what they're trying to teach you to eat. That it's like,
Right.
are you trying to kill me? Kind of
Right.
thing. That the margarines and stuff like that. But go back to what on the whole foods, the eggs, the meat, the protein. Go back to what you do. Just avoid that other stuff. Don't a bowl of oatmeal in the morning isn't going to serve anybody.
No.
Kind of thing. What to
Right.
listen to and what not to. Still,
Right.
carnivores got you this far and healed you.
It's amazing to me how good I feel. I had some anemia, but that had been resolved before, like right before I started carnivore. And just doing the carnivore and in the MCT oils and the fatty I'm a huge fan of a fatty coffee. Let me tell you, that's my favorite thing in the world. The more ghee I can put in there, the better. But I was just amazed. Like 2 weeks in, because it just kind of creeps up on you. I didn't notice it, but a girl at work said something to me. She said, "Your skin's brighter.
Mhm.
She said, you're bubbly. She said, you seem to have more energy." And I was, yeah. And then I realized I wasn't dragging through the day anymore.
Yep.
And just
You
like,
don't hit that 2:00 slug moment.
yeah, I don't have
we
that
always-
anymore.
We
When
always laugh.
everybody else is running for the sugar, I'm like,
I'm good. Yeah. We always talk about when we coach our classes, I always keep forgetting to do it, but I always say when we get on the first day, I want to take a picture of everybody, because you can tell everybody about 6 weeks in, 4 to 6 weeks in, you see that glow. Everybody hits that. The skin just looks totally different, and you can see it on everybody. So it's just such a neat tool to see, your chemistry starting to shift.
yeah.
That's one of the first things people notice, even before, those of us that have lots of mitochondrial damage that we're dealing with at the cellular level, we don't lose the weight fast. I mean, I still have major weight to lose. We're healing on the inside first. So just know that everything you've been through, your surgeries, your damage, the stuff, your heart, everything, that's a hard journey. Your body is fighting and healing at the cellular level. So be patient with yourself on the weight. Those things will come. That's not the goal. That's the happy accident of doing this right. And work through the stresses of the surgeries and the things that you've done and been through. Give yourself some grace for what you have been through.
Right.
And kudos to you for being here. So, good job and welcome. Welcome to our tribe.
Yes.
Yeah.
Nice
Thank
job.
you. Thank you. Yeah, I am. I'm not pushing myself on any of this. It'll come. And I'm listening. I don't know. One of the experts said the scale's a liar. And
Don't
I said,
even
okay.
listen to it.
Don't even
And
step
so-
on it right now.
Because I've noticed my clothes fit much differently.
Mhm.
And and I do that. And I've become a big fan of purse bacon, by the way. Who knew that was a thing?
I'm telling you, I think I'm going to have a string of dogs behind me because I carry bacon with me.
I went to my friend's house and I didn't actually have purse bacon at the time, but I went to visit an elderly friend and her dog was just like going all over my purse. And I was like, oh gosh. And she said, "What?" I said, "I carry purse bacon a lot." So I guess she's
Right? Bacon, butter, and salt has been known to be in my purse everywhere we go.
Yep.
anytime. I just said eat butter now. And the great thing too, I want to add this in because I'm just like, praise God, this is just a miracle in all of this. My daughter, who's in her 30s and lives like she's in college. She lives off of pizza and stuff, or did. A couple of weeks ago, she told me, she said she was going to be staying here for a week, and the whole family was in. And she said, "Mom, I don't know if I can handle carnivore. I don't know if I, but I want to learn keto. Can you teach me keto?" And I was like, "Well, I'm just starting, but we'll get you hooked up."
Yeah.
I said, and I started sending her drboz videos. And she started watching. She goes, I'm getting confused. I said, I'm just sending you the beginner ones. Don't worry about any of the rest of them. Don't veer off on that rabbit trail. But now she's 2 weeks in on keto. And she
Nice.
sent me
Good
a
deal.
message yesterday, and she goes, my energy level, she said, is through the roof. I cannot believe this. And I was like, yeah, from the girl who lived off pizza and ice cream. This is amazing.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I'm
And
just
that's a huge blessing right there to
Yes.
just be leading by example. And that's what we all
Right.
say, whether your kids are following you or not, you know,
Right.
you lead by example, you plant those seeds. And it does kind of help everything with all those issues that the kids go through. So, you know, as they slowly see it and understand it, it'll happen. And you just got to
Yeah.
keep leading, and you're there, you're doing the best you can do, and you're rubbing off on your daughter. So look how far you
Yes.
both come. So
right.
again, we're just going to grow this community one person at a time, one ketone at a time, one cell at a time, till we're all healthy and fighting it. So
Yeah.
that's just
I've
cool.
I've become one of those freaks for this. So
That's all good.
We all do.
That's all good.
We all
people
do.
run when they see me coming out work. It's like, oh well, sorry.
We live in a small town, so every time I walk in the grocery store, people run from us like we're the food police or something in the grocery store. They're
Right.
like, "Don't look in my cart." It's like, it's all right, you'll get there.
Right.
You know?
Right.
It's
Yeah,
just
the lady that was checking me out at the food line a week ago, I had hamburger, bacon, a whole lot of Kerrygold butter because it was on sale, and a few other things. And she goes, "So carnivore or keto?"
Nice.
both. Yeah.
She recognized what it was. I was like, "Oh, it shows." Okay.
Yeah, it is. It's just a neat journey to be on together.
Yeah.
So welcome, Lori, and good for you. Stick
Thank
with it
you.
and come over in the group and fill in. I don't know if
Yeah.
you're over in the group doing the challenge over there where you're checking in with us yet, but even if you're not doing your numbers yet, you can come over and just fill us in how you're moving along.
Sure. Which
We're Journey to
that-
Keto with Tammy.
journey? Okay.
Yep.
That's in the
Just to say, I'm
Facebook.
on drboz neurons. That's where I found you.
Yep. Just come on over. Look us up. Journey to
Okay.
Keto with Tammy Lawbacher, and you get in that group. And we're doing a challenge right now. And if you're checking your numbers, you can go over and put your glucose and your ketones and your DBR and let us know how
Okay.
you're kind of doing. If you're not checking your numbers, just put a little blurb under each post. There's a new post that goes up every morning for your
Okay.
challenge to say, fill in today how you're doing, because I want you to be able to go back and look at it and go back 2 weeks and see what your numbers were. Just what Wayne was talking about earlier, how your
Okay.
numbers, see how you're not competing against anybody but yourself, but check where you're at right now. And then
Okay.
check where you're going to be, you know, in 2 weeks down the road. So it'll be good.
Sure. Okay.
Come
Yeah,
on.
I got the key. I got the monitor. Do you do it first thing in the morning? Is that?
Yes,
Yes.
that's the
Okay.
one that matters. You want to make sure
Okay.
you're checking it first thing in the morning, because that's going to tell us
Okay.
where your metabolic health is.
Okay.
And if you need help with that, signing in or connecting any of that, let us know. We can help
Okay.
you.
We'll do. Thank you.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
Come on in. Sherry, do you want to come and check in?
Yeah,
Hey.
sure. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Can you hear me all right?
Yes, we can.
Well, I sure appreciate your accountability challenge. It's made a big difference for me. My history is kind of, well, weight has always been a struggle all my life. Diabetes runs heavy on my mother's side. I did have gestational diabetes with my last, I have 6 kids.
Ooh.
They're all grown now. But with my last one, I did have gestational diabetes. And you probably figure I was probably borderline diabetes. And over the years, over the last 4 years, something like that, I had started hearing about different, well, Dr. Fung, I think, was one of the first ones that I heard of. And then I went from there to Dr. Boz. And when I started keto at first, it was like, okay, I am going to give this, I said for 3 months, I'm going to do this and see if it works. And it did work. And I
Good.
lost my weight, like 40 to 45 pounds. And then, so I was like right at goal weight, or maybe another 5 pounds would have been great. But the last year, like you talk about life struggles, we just went through a lot of stuff, family stuff, different things that just, I gained all my weight back. And
Aw.
yeah, I gained it all back. And then was trying to get back on the wagon And I just couldn't, I just was having a hard time just getting back to, and then I finally said, I've got to stop this. Every occasion that comes up, like, I just can't, I'm never gonna get back on track if I fall off every time there's, we have a big family and everything.
Always
And
somebody's
then
birthday and always.
oh man, there's just so much. And then, there's summer activities. And in fact, we were invited to go over to someone's house for dinner tonight, but I'd already just started your Zoom call and we decided to just pass on it tonight. But I didn't get to start your challenge right on the day you started because
Okay.
I had a conference I was at, but I joined in a few days later.
Good.
And my numbers were high. They were very high. And but it's been enough to get me back on track. And I really think that from those first years of, even though I've done poorly for a year, it's like my body knew what to do. As
Kicking
soon
back
as I
in. Yep.
as soon as I do what's right,
Yep.
it works.
And
But I still, I definitely insulin resistant. If I eat the wrong stuff, my glucose will shoot right up. If I eat late, I don't have that very great numbers, that kind of thing. But if I eat early, so I go back and forth between one meal a day, or I try to keep my window in the 4 to 6 hour range. It works pretty good. Fasting works the best as far as losing weight. I do much better. So there's been a couple times in the last couple weeks where I've said, like this morning, I said that I fasted since 2:00 yesterday afternoon. And I said I was going to try and do a 72-hour fast because I have not been able to fast. I just haven't had the willpower to do it. And it was kind of scary to post it out there, like, I'm going to do this, but I just know that by doing that, it brings up that accountability for myself. Yeah.
Couple things,
So-
Sherry. Make sure, first of all, if you're not ready for a 72, set your goal for a 48 so you succeed the first time. We want you to set yourself up for success.
I was thinking
Yeah.
the same thing.
So let that be, you'll get there. But again,
Yeah.
life's gonna kick you down sometimes and you're doing the best you can do, and that's okay. Closing that eating window, the beauty of it is, those steps.
Yeah.
You'll hear us saying about shooting cleanup. It's just time to shoot cleanup, get that narrowed back down, get your steps back in, in order, get that eating window tightened back up, get your carb count back in, start tracking, getting in that rhythm. And the accountability is, I think, the huge part of all of it. So
It is.
I was
Yeah.
thinking
So-
even smaller. I mean, if you're trying to get back into fasting, I would even just start with a 24, just to get your mindset.
Well, I think I've kind of been doing that.
Okay.
Like if I've done a one meal a day, there's been a few days where I've just done one meal a day. And I think, I don't know if it was last week that I did a 36-hour,
Okay.
so
Yeah.
I kind of do well, but even though I stuck it out there, I know I feel free that if I just can't do it, I'll say so,
Right.
and stop
But
at
good-
48
but
or
help-
whatever,
Help yourself to build up that momentum, and that helps
Yeah.
your mindset as well, to where your mind doesn't play against you
Yeah.
too much.
we were just kind of talking
Yeah.
about this before we went live, because we have been struggling. And I think it's one of those to figure out if you're really chemically struggling, it shouldn't be a starvation thing going into fasting. It should be, you're working on the mental game, but if you're really fat adapted and those hormones are ready, your chemistry will carry you. It's fighting that
Yeah.
mind, it's fighting the mind shift and the things going on there.
Right.
So kind of determine, is it a fat adaptation thing or if it's a mindset? And if it's just the mindset, don't cut yourself the slack on that. The agreement we just went to too is if I can't make it fasting clean, I need to go with sardines or mackerel. you know, and I'm going to hold myself accountable to that. And that's one of those, I'm struggling with medications right now from the heart attack they have me on still, that I just don't feel good when I take them. I feel like I'm jittery, like I'm hungry all the time. So I'm trying to go with that medication feeling, but it doesn't let me off the hook. You know, it doesn't let me off the hook to just say, I can't do this. So what I'm going to challenge myself to do is, if I can't make it on a clean fast, I'm going to go to mackerel and sardines. And any of you that know me very well know that is not an enjoyable moment for me.
Yeah.
But I'm going to hold
I like
myself
that.
accountable to that.
Yeah.
One way
That's
to work
really
through.
good advice. Yeah.
And
Yeah,
you
I'll
will
keep
work
that
through,
in
because
mind.
what you're going to figure out then, are you really hungry, or is your mind playing games with you?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because if you're not really hungry, then keep going clean. You know, if you need to eat, go to the sardines or the mackerel. If you don't need to,
That sounds good.
then don't let yourself give yourself an excuse. Push
Yeah.
through. Do those cleans, because anybody that's insulin resistant, as much as most of us are on here, fasting is what's going to clean up that insulin resistance. Fasting is what's going to get all of those things in order and get happening again. I miss that feeling so bad. And I've struggled getting back in that routine since my heart attack. And we're coming up on a year here next week. And it's been a struggle, and my body fights me every darn step of the way, whether it be the medications, whether it be the metabolic damage. I don't know what else going on, but it is not like it used to be. We have to get back there. And you will too. You'll get there. We got to work through the issues, regardless of what your issues are, whether it's stress and family, whether it's heart attack, whether it's medications, whatever it is, we've got to work through those issues to get back to the win of those fasting days, because that is where the beauty in that.
Yeah.
But you have to do fasting when your chemistry is going to carry you through. So make sure those fat-based hormones are happy. Make sure you've worked through every step of keto continuum to get yourself there. Then you push forward. Then, okay, stop making excuses, kick yourself in the butt and say, it's time to be accountable, and we're going to do this, because that's where the magic happens. It really is. Once you're chemically and your chemistry is good, you get into those 8 weeks of 72s in a row. I've never felt so good since the day they put chemo in my body and life changed. Fasting is what is the best I have felt since the day they put chemo in my body. And that was 21 years ago. So you got this. It doesn't matter what the issues are you're dealing with. Some of us just have more issues than other people, but we still got to work through them the same way. Your issue is just as strong, just as hard, just as tough, whether you've had a heart attack, whether you've had diabetes. And you were absolutely right in what you said with you being probably pre-diabetic. Most of us living on the standard American diet, even a healthy, clean standard American diet, if you check your glucose, I bet you 90% of people are pre-diabetic, because that glucose, that morning glucose is too high, so don't be shy about that. You're absolutely right. We were all pre-diabetic and lied to. And, it is sad what the sickest people are fed and recommended to eat and things like that. It's a tough journey to be on. It really is. So hold yourself accountable, get back to that fasting moment so you can get in there and get going back with everybody, and you'll get in that rhythm.
Yeah.
Hold your sardines and mackerel, or whichever one you turn to as your accountability partner. If you're that hungry, they have to go down. That'll be good. Good job.
Sounds
good
good.
job. And welcome to the
Thanks.
group. Go over and fill us in and let us know how you're doing.
Thank you.
And go back and do like Wayne did. Go back and see where you were 2 weeks ago. Go see where you were 3 weeks ago and see what your numbers are doing. That's why I'm leaving all those posts up, so everybody can go back and check back and forth. So it's going to be sweet.
I had one question on YouTube. Karen Cook says, how do you know that you are not under eating with OMAD? And I basically said, you need to know the amount of fats you need. And if your fats are right, you won't be under eating. You won't be under eating on OMAD. And I told her that we use Chronometer to know how much fat we need.
Yep. Go by Chronometer. And when you put all those in right, you have to make sure you're set up properly under keto nutrients. Oh, shoot. No. Hang on. I'm trying to think the order of it. Keto calculator. Keto calculator. There we go. Rigorous and total carbs. Make sure Chronometer is set up properly, because if you have those 3 settings correct, it will have you down under those 20 carbs, and you put your weight in, you put everything in, it will give you the fat macros. This is a fat-based diet. You have to get those fats in you first. If you get those fats in you and you're meeting that ratio every day, you will not be so hungry. Then the protein will fill in everything else.
And you won't be under eating.
Right. You'll be getting everything you need. I mean, you'll get there.
And Chronometer, just to let you know, Chronometer is an app. You can buy it at the App Store, or not buy it, but there's a free version. You can get it at the Apple's iStore, or you can get it at Google Play, anything like that.
Go to our website, just go to journeytoketo.com, and it's under Tammy's favorites. You can go straight from that link right there and sign right into Chronometer. It helps us out a little bit, so we appreciate it. But
and that was the only question. How do you know when you are fat adapted?
Good question. There's some neat ways to do that. There's different signs in your body. When you're going through the steps of keto continuum, your body's going to tell you, your numbers are going to tell you, and how you feel is going to tell you. First of all, when you're working through those numbers and you're closing that eating window, you know where your DVR is, you know what your morning glucose is, your ketones will start going up. You will know when your body is starting to use fat as fuel, because first of all, you're not as hungry. So if you're missing breakfast, or you're skipping lunch, or you're able to get closing that eating window up, you are not hungry, because your body is somewhat learning to go live off of the fat. That means you're starting to use your body for fuel. That's how we fast for 72 hours. And we're not starving to death, because I got more than enough fuel I'm carrying around in my trunk to keep my body happy. So you're going to know those feelings. So go by, first of all, how you feel, because that's so important. You're going to know, are you still getting shaky and yucky? Like, oh my God, my sugar's dropping, I feel like crap. You're still looking for glucose for fuel, those kind of things. This takes time. And that's the difference of how we do this. You hear the dirty keto that's out there and things like that. Those are things that we all kind of take that for granted, because those are issues that the dirty keto world, or when you're first starting, everybody kind of goes through those phases of, it's not the best quality, I guess it is. You're not doing the best quality, but as you get that quality to be a better and better fats and better proteins and better nutrients going in your body, that whole fat adaptation thing starts getting easier and easier.
And it'll get quicker and quicker.
Quicker and quicker. Just like Wayne was saying earlier, when you get off the trail a little bit, it comes back to it. Sherry was even saying how your body will start to remember that as your metabolic damage gets healed and you're getting stronger and healthier, and those cells are stronger and healthier, that mitochondria is getting flexed and getting healthier. You're replacing those broken proteins with new ones when you hit that autophagy. When you're fat adapted, that chemistry shift will carry you through your fasting, or even just your intermittent eating moments. We don't really consider it a fast until you're hitting that 48-hour mark. So before that's just intermittent eating. When you're fat adapted, you will make it through that clean time. Outside that eating window will be clean. Black coffee, black tea, salt and water only. When you're making it through that time and you're not wanting to punch somebody in the face, or your spouse isn't ready to hurt you and tie you up and leave the house, you're probably fat adapted, because you're happy. Your hormones are happy. Estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, all those hormones are fat-based hormones. So when they're all working and happy, you're happy, which means your fat is kicking. The fat-based hormones are starting to do their job, because when you're eating a low-fat diet, your hormones are not getting the building blocks that they need to build a fat-based hormone. So you have to add that fat in there to get those hormones to start functioning again. So many of us ate low carb or low fat for how many years? Think back 20 years ago, what was popular. I mean, I've taught Fit for Life for years. Just different ways of eating, and it was all about low fat everything. And it was like, oh, good Lord. I look back at it now, it's like, what were we thinking? It just makes no logical sense. When you have a fat-based hormone, you have to ingest some fat to wake those hormones up.
And I think that right there just answered her next question, because she asked about, if you have hyperthyroidism, do you need your fats up to heal the thyroid? Absolutely.
Thyroid all needs that.
And then she asked, is fasting going to hurt the thyroid? No.
You're going to turn this is where new cells are being built. You're getting everything to kick back in. Your thyroid, all those hormones need the healthy fat. Now, there is a huge difference in the fats that you're ingesting. I don't mean any processed foods. I don't mean any processed oils, no seed oils, no rancid oils, nothing. You want those fats. They are the building blocks of your cells. They are the building blocks of the hormones. They are the building blocks of your house.
Your body knows how to use fat. You just have to teach it again to do that. We've put so many carbs and sugars in our system that we've trained our body to be sugar and carb burners instead of fats. Naturally, our bodies are fat burners. That's the way we were made. So we need to teach it again how to do it, what it normally does. So the fasting, when you do that, you're going to suck out all the glucose and you're going to pull out all that crap. And your body's going to say, okay, I'm out of that. Now what do? Well, I go to the fats. And then that's when your body starts using fats again. That's what you're training. That's what you're doing when you're going into fasting. You're training your body to use your fats again.
Back to make sure though you're putting good fats.
Right.
No, the rancid fats and stuff like that are so hard. Do not put those in your body. Benazotti was speaking on one, and he threw out a neat little comment, and it's one of those that kind of stuck in my head. He said, if you had to pick a choice between to stop smoking or to never put rancid oils in your body, it surprised me. The answer was to not put the rancid oils in your body. So as much as we all know smoking is detrimental to your health, those rancid oils top that. So I think that is where we all have to rethink these oils. When you eat at a restaurant, that's why we're really reluctant on where we eat anymore, because the quality of nutrition we want to go in, I don't want those rancid fats in me, even a little bit. Now, when you go someplace, the cool part of it, though, you will notice when you go someplace that uses dirty, rancid oils, you will smell it, you will taste it, you will everything. You can feel the difference. You can taste the difference. You can smell it. And it's crazy. We were sitting at his family's yesterday, and they had a bowl of Fritos. We haven't had Fritos in 5 years. And it was just sitting there, and I kind of picked it up, and it's like, So I took just a nibble off of it. And it was like, oh, you can taste those rancid oils.
Nasty.
I'm like, how did we used to eat this stuff and think it was okay? Or you drive through McDonald's drive-through, you're on the run, you got to grab a burger, whatever, run through, order it on a plate. And it's like, they just opened that, no bun in there, no fries, no nothing in there, but they open that window and hand out that bag to you. And it's like, that bag even smells like rancid oil. It's like, bleh. All those things being said, the fats are so important. Healthy, good fats, your olive oil, avocado oil, beef tallow, what else? The lard, the bacon grease. Use those good use those good healthy fats to do those, build those building blocks. So you got that? Anything else?
Nope, that's it.
Going over. God bless you.
Sorry, guys.
But the thyroid, absolutely. The thyroid again. Get those fats going.
Fat-based hormone.
Fat-based everything. So let's make building block. Whew, we keep glitching. Gonna have a storm. So good job. Come on in. Tanya, you want to come and check in, honey? Oh, hang on, we got you muted.
Go. Now can you hear me?
Yes,
yeah, we can. Come on in, sweetie.
Okay. All right. I want to tell you, I just went to the doctor, had a bunch of blood work done, and I was getting ready to send my A1C in to get it tested through drboz. And I didn't do that because my son was really pushing me to go to the doctor and get this lab work done. Well, I did. And I want you to know my A1C come back horrible. And I just noticed in the last 2 weeks, and that's the reason I've not been posting my numbers. I've not been sleeping well. So I know my cortisol is starting to rise earlier, and I know that's affecting my numbers. But with that A1C, I think.
So when you say horrible, what was your number? What was your A1C?
It was 6 point something. And before, when I took it a year and a half ago, it was a little over 4. And my husband says, I don't see how that could be.
Oh, yeah.
But I mean, I can see things that's changed in my life, and I've been real busy. I work the ministry, and I've been busy taking people to a lot of doctor's appointments. And I'll tell you, I'm not as active. Those things matter. And then you get to keeping these people on your mind, and you can't sleep. So I got a lot of things to really get worked out, because my health is important, and I know how I felt. And I put on between 10 and 15 pounds. And that right there should have been an indicator, that I needed. But my numbers still yet weren't bad. But like in the last 2 weeks, my morning numbers, but see, that's going to fluctuate because I would try to take them when I got up. And if you didn't sleep good, you ain't going to get up till 7 or 8 o'clock. And right there, that's not good. That's not a good time to take a number.
Right.
So anyway.
Plus you didn't sleep good, and there's a reason you didn't sleep good. So you've been, that's you're stressing your system anyway. So I'd say at that point, I would save the strip.
Yeah.
But Tanya, so many teaching moments in that. First of all, not sleeping. Anybody that's not done the brains course, when you've done the brains course and understand that not sleeping is detrimental. It is just one of the biggest factors that most of us put so little importance on. When you're not sleeping, you're not getting that BDNF in the brain. The BDNF is not getting raised to do that work it's supposed to do. And that only happens when you hit that delta, that really deep delta sleep. So you've got so many things going, and you're caring for how many other people. And those of us mamas and daddies on here, that when you're caring for everybody else, we kind of seem to throw the baby out with the bathwater on, we don't take care of ourselves. We take care of everybody else. And I think that's one of the lessons I'm writing over on the app right now as we speak of, you got to make you a priority and you got to fit you in, because if you take care of everybody else and you're just looking at the difference of your numbers, where you were a year ago and where you're at right now, I know you're not totally off the rails. I know you know how to eat. I know all of those things, but look at what cortisol does to you. Look what it's done to your path. And, we all want you in the ministry, and I think it's great that you're doing that, but you need to self-evaluate and figure out how can you do the ministry and work and what you're called to do.
Yeah.
But making you a priority is still.
You can't take care of everybody else if you don't take care of yourself.
So if that means back off a little bit, if that means schedule certain days that you can't, I don't know what that means for you, but
that is what that means. it is. I already know that. I want to tell you something else. I started using this stuff called Sprayology. You ever heard of that? It's I don't want to say it's a homeopathic something or another. Yes. And anyway, you use a couple of sprays in your mouth of a night, and it did help. But then I also started taking some, I think it's called glycine or what's it called? It's crystals. And it was recommended through bulk supplements to help you sleep. And it looks like sugar crystals, and it's kind of sweet, but it said that it would not affect your sugar. And so I told my husband, I said, okay, this is the two things I've changed. So after all of this, I quit that Sprayology and I quit that glycine or whatever that is called. And I said, that's the only two things I've changed, other than sometimes my eating window would be later, because when you take somebody to doctor's appointments, a lot of times it takes all your day.
Yeah.
So that right there, but there's some things and then like my test results, I got to get them on the chart and look at them, and oh goodness.
Yep.
You'll get there, Tanya.
Just go back to the basics.
Yep.
The basics never fail. They really don't.
Clean it up.
And it's tough because you get some confidence and you say, oh, well, I can do this, and I'm a little bit flexible. I can do this and that. The basics are where it's at. I mean, if you stick to the basics, it'll bring you right back home. It really will.
Yeah. And I think the part of just knowing, Tanya, you know where your numbers were before, you know how to do this, you know what your body is capable of doing. And what a good indicator though, of knowing when you wake up in the morning and that those numbers are starting to go for a rise. That's okay for a day or two. That's okay you don't let that keep happening. If that morning number is waking up, you need to pay attention to that. That is telling you what's going on in your body. That's your check engine light saying, hey, pay attention to me. If it was your car that you were driving all these people to doctor's appointments on and your check engine light come on, you wouldn't keep going.
Oh yeah. Those checking those numbers is just essential. It's essential.
So you gotta, Tanya, I know your heart and I know you're a sweetheart, and you got to take care of you first.
I know I got to get back on track.
Then you can take care of somebody else.
Yep. Then you can pass that love around, but I'm saying this, you all got to learn to love yourself.
She needs to do it too.
It's hard. It's all, it's hard.
It is.
You got to take care of you first. I got everybody do the same thing. And I think it's a mama's thing of our heart, and that ain't ever going to change. So we got to learn to deal with it. And you can't give away something you don't have.
Yeah.
And if it's at the cost of your health,
it ain't worth it anymore. I mean, I've seen that. I thought, boy, I know how good I was feeling. And I thought, I got to just slow down a little bit and just back off and just get myself back on track for sure.
Good job. Good job, Tanya. We love you. You
hang in there, girl.
You got it.
I will. Thank you.
Get in those groups. Get those numbers over there, though. You need to come and get in there, because that's going to be a reality check for you and a little bit of accountability. Or if you want to operate the app with us that we're working on, you let me know.
Okay.
That's accountability in your pocket if we get it all figured out. Okay, Helen, you want to come check in?
Yeah.
Tell
Well,
us
I
a
took
win and a
Wayne-
struggle.
Huh?
I said, give us a win and give us a struggle for the week.
Well, I saw Wayne post his numbers, so I said, all right, Wayne, here are mine. And mine, and actually I had bumped around on chronometer today, and I think I'm set up correctly, and I have the 20 carbs. But I synced my data back to September last year when the 21-day challenge was, because that's when I downloaded chronometer. And I haven't had a chance to look at that, but I had looked this past week. My numbers were better.
Good.
Excuse me. And I had 2 days where I had a 0.9 and a 1 point something ketones. And so I want to try to see what was I doing when they were up that far.
Yep.
And
that's
when I figure
exactly
it
what.
out,
Yep. Rinse and repeat. When you get it going in the right
Yep.
direction, you rinse and repeat and keep going till that stops working. When that step stops working, then we know it's time to push it forward.
for another
So-
one.
And that's the beauty of being able to go back on that group page and go back and look where your numbers were a week ago. And you'll gonna, just like Wayne said, he's going to see, he knows exactly where he was a week ago, and he can go back and check it again. So go back and look and see where you're at. And each
Yeah.
one of those posts are dated at the top. So you'll be able to see a week ago, 2 weeks ago, 3
Oh.
weeks ago. So good job.
Okay. I've been waking up. I still don't have my BiPAP, but it's coming this week, I hope. Waking up with gout pain, but it's not as severe. I mean, I used to have gout where I'd have to wear the boot and have it for days. Well, now I'm keeping the colchicine in the bathroom. And if I wake up at night and I can make the 4 steps to the bathroom, I'll take a colchicine in the middle of the night, and that helps. But the doctor said, if you're having gout, you need to take 2 tablespoons of tart cherry juice a day. Well, that's 8 carbs.
Yeah.
You
And
need to
so
clean up
I'm-
that glucose to fix that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'll just keep doing that. Let's see. That was my main thing. And then I've just watched, a couple of people are saying they ate butter before they went to bed, and that's supposed to help your sleep be better. But I cut my eating off like at 4 in the afternoon. And
Yes.
if I did that.
Yeah.
So
That's still
don't
putting
do
stuff
that.
in. That's still,
Don't.
no, that is still putting stuff outside your eating window. So that's keeping your eating window. So that longer eating window is more detrimental than not having that fat in you. So if you can tighten up that eating window and get the fats in you during that eating window. Now, when you're first starting and you're out trying to build your chemistry, then yes, that fat early morning, whatever you can get that fat in you is part of building that chemistry. But once that chemistry is going, then that eating window is more important
That
and getting
eating
that
window's
fat in that eating window.
very
Okay, because what I'm doing now is tracking and making sure that I have enough fat in my eating window. So then I don't have to be concerned about taking fat before I go to bed.
Correct.
Okay.
That's having a
Perfect.
clean eating window. That's
All
that's
right.
exactly
And
right.
if you're cutting it off at 4 o'clock, kudos. I mean, because that's some people don't get that luxury. Like I don't get home from work until 4:30, so my eating window is probably open till 6. And I can't. It's hard for me to close it unless I'm fasting because I only get a half hour at lunch. So I really don't have time to make that cutoff that early. So the earlier in the day that you can do that, your results will be better.
Yeah, and that's going to
Okay,
help
well,
clean up for that gout. That's going to help you start shooting clean up to get that glucose
Right.
down, those ketones up. Make sure your water is staying up and make sure your minerals are staying up.
Yes.
You know, make sure those are staying in you. And as those crystals and all that kind of break up, and you want to keep everything moving and flushing out and keep going. So, you know.
okay, and then, let's see, that was included. So you don't do that when people are saying that. Good, I can take that off. Because,
I put it this way, I wouldn't.
yeah, okay,
Maybe, like I said, at the very beginning, when you're building that chemistry and you're trying to get the fat-based hormones fat and happy, that's one way. You know, that's one thing it's a consideration if you really need it. If you're still feeling hungry, some people would literally wake up in the middle of the night starving to death because they're used to snacking all night long. If so, then butter would be a better option to have before bed. But as you're building that chemistry and you're trying to literally get on this rhythm of cleaning up that glucose and making ketones, that eating window is so important to start getting it tightened up and closed up.
okay. Because I think as we go along, and I want you to be, I know you're watching our numbers and looking. I think I'm at number 5.
Good job.
Well, good deal.
And maybe number 6, because I don't drink coffee. So I never, ever even started with bulletproof coffee.
Good.
Good job.
I really like iced tea, but butter doesn't seem to
No.
melt in iced tea.
Not good.
Not a good one. Good
So
job.
I've actually, where I am is I've just been doing it with it being the food. So I might be number 6, but I hope that, and I'm eating 2 meals a day, and I've cut out I don't snack.
Good
Good job. Good job. You're doing it perfect, Helen.
Rare, but I'm really, maybe if something's going on, but no, it's in my window and that's it.
Stay consistent in that. Do that consistently for a while and
So you
see what
master
happens.
it, and staying clean and making sure you have those 2 meals in, that's okay. You're going to have those meals in you, then you zip it, no eating, then have that meal again, as long as you're staying. And then the rest of that eating window is totally clean. Black coffee, black tea, salt, water, whatever.
Stick with that for a little bit.
You got that. That is setting your chemistry for success. That is setting you to be able to push to the advanced levels. I know you're still at baseline, so you're getting there, but it's like you are doing the steps to get your chemistry stable. Then you're going to be able to push it forward. Then you're going to.
You're almost right there where you need to be for a sweet spot for you.
Yep.
Just kind of sit there and do
Rinse and
exactly
repeat.
that every day consistently.
Yeah.
And you'll start to see changes. And then when your changes kind of level off, that's when you know that it's time to stress you to the next level.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good job though. Nice work.
All right.
Be consistent.
Yep. You got this. All
Oh,
right.
and Michelle, you're not related to Dr. Boz, are you?
Not this Michelle. The
Nope.
other Michelle. We have Michelle. There is another Michelle that is
I didn't know her last name. So
Michelle Bosworth.
Yeah, it's Michelle.
Mary
Yeah, it's
Bosworth.
Michelle Bosworth.
Oh, okay. Got
That's
it.
Dr. Boz's sister-in-law, but that's not this
Okay.
Michelle.
That's not Eric and Michelle. Nope.
Come
Yeah.
on in, check in, guys, if you're there. Get baby out of the corner and tired. Come and check in.
He may be eating too. There he is.
There.
Maybe not even here tonight.
Oh, just Eric tonight.
Yes. So
Tell
I
us how you're
shall
doing.
rule at all. She's at a work conference. She might get here about 7. So yeah, no wifey tonight. Pretty good week, I think. I asked you, why does green chili have to taste so good? And I think that's just a rhetorical question because it just is so good.
Right.
But yeah, we had our bowl and we went out for a different Mexican restaurant to try their fajitas. It was probably better than the week before, but trying it because what we normally get is really carb heavy. So, but I think other than that, I still ended up with 2.3 ketones both Saturday and Sunday morning, which was
Nice.
cool.
Nice work.
This morning, when we had the Mexican yesterday, I had 10 maybe corn chips with the salsa because the salsa was actually pretty tasty. But we didn't scarf down on them and just go crazy on free refills. So that was good that we just had a couple. But
That's a
my
good-
numbers were at like a 1.1, I think today, which is still cool, but not as good as the 2.3.
I'll tell you what, though, that
Kudos to you.
thing with that chips, that plays in your mind, that's awesome. That's a really tough building tool to play with, because that's hard for some people, me included. I'm a freaking snacker, like unreal. I mean, that is my Achilles heel, and especially a free bowl of chips, look out. But if you can control that just plays so much into your mindset and sets you up for a lot better things. So don't discount that as not very hard or not very, a very minor thing. In the big scheme, that's a big thing.
Yeah, I think, yeah, because normally we scarf.
Yep.
So yeah, but other than that, I think we ate pretty clean all the way around. Yeah, it's interesting listening to Helen, you guys talk about closing the window and not reopening it. I had cooked the pot roast for lunches this week after our window was closed. I was looking at it, I'm like,
yes.
That's the same way when I'm making bone broth, and it never fails. It's always on a week that we're on a 72, and then our whole house smells like bone broth for 3 days.
Tuesday, and we got one more day to go in our fast, and it's like, really, when you're coming down to crunch time, the house smells like bone broth.
Bone broth, nice. Yeah, I still need to make. I can't do it how you do, because I don't trust leaving the gas oven on for 4 days like you do, or an electric one, I should say. So I got to find something I can do with an Instant Pot, at least to get it going. Larry on Carnivore Quest had one that he did for like 4 hours and then put it in a crock pot for a couple of days. I might try that. So I need to get that going. But anyhow, otherwise, I think we're moving along. We're just going. Yeah, it's us.
Good job.
Good.
First of all, Eric, I want to say you got the glow. We were just talking about the skin. I don't know if you were on yet, but everybody said the glow. You've got the glow. And it's one of those, you can see the cellular turnover in everybody's skin. When you hit that glow, everybody hits it. Men, women, it doesn't matter. It is so cool to see what getting that inflammation down does. It just really does help. What do you got, Helen? Jump in, hon. What you need?
I want to tell Eric that our Mexican restaurant now accepts that we walk in with a bag of bacon rinds, pork rinds.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah. Pork rinds.
That's a good idea.
That's a great idea.
I love it.
Really good idea.
Oh,
that's pretty brilliant. And then you have that salsa and that queso.
Oh, look out.
Oh, that queso. Because I wanted to get that. You guys Costco where you're at?
Yeah. Or no, we have Sam's Club, I think.
Yeah. Anyhow, they've got this 10-pound can of queso.
Oh, how about the carbs in it?
Delicious nachos and
be careful with that canned
yeah
queso,
we've avoided it the past year, but yeah, that'd be interesting to try that with those rinds. Never thought of it.
Yes.
Oh, that's a brilliant idea. I love that.
That's
good
brilliant.
job,
Thank you, Helen.
We're all going to be carrying. Now we're going to be walking into restaurants with our own damn lunchbox. So we're going to have our pork rinds, our butter, our salt, and our bacon in the purse.
Yep.
Yeah, I just want water.
Purses are going to be full.
I'm going to need a second purse just to carry my crap in a restaurant. Hey, good job, Helen. But what a neat idea, Eric. Good job, guys. Seriously,
thanks.
you're playing.
Keep it up, brother.
Keep it up. Keep going. Rinse and repeat, and you got it. But tightening that eating window. All my veterans, we're on that crunch time.
Yeah, my window today. I've been drinking my coffee. I switched it up. I started drinking my coffee about 9:15 and being done about 2:50. So kind of a 19-hour fast. I'm trying to push it back a little bit more. I'd like to go maybe a consistent 18.6, but if not a 24 would be ideal. 24. But I drink my coffee first, then I drink my other fat heavy drink at the end of my lunch, even though I'm already pretty darn full. And it really just fills it up with all that fat and the half and half and MCT and cacao butter, all that stuff.
Wait a minute, time out. Don't be using half and half. You need to use heavy whipping cream. You're getting extra carbs in that half and half.
It's minimal. I'm still under 12 grams of carbs. But yeah, I would go with heavy whipping cream, but all the whipping cream has that carnarvon or whatever that crap is. And we get our half and half from a local dairy, and
Gotcha.
their whipping cream is like $7.50 for the same pint that we get or quart that we get of the, and we go through a lot of half and half. So kind of got to
Oh.
make.
All right.
Little
Choose your
trade-offs
battles.
there.
Yeah.
That's a good
Good thinking.
good reasoning.
Yep.
Yeah, because trust me, I would love to do the heavy whipping cream, but even at King Super / Kroger, it's like $6.50 for, and that's like as much as we go through, because I'm putting in like 120 milliliters of half and half in both my drinks and 30 milliliters of MCT. If I get like a quarter cup of MCT a day.
Wow. That's
They're-
great.
They're fat heavy. I mean, they're like over 200, I think over 200 grams of fat in just the 2 drinks alone.
So you know what's going to happen, Eric, what's going to be cool is as we start to close up that eating window and we start to bring that a little bit narrower and a little bit narrower, and you can cut back on some of that. Right now you're putting that MCT in to help your liver learn to make ketones and things like that. But when we start pulling that back is when your body's going to go out and start looking for that fat, so as you start tightening that window up, watch your fat grams in your chronometer, make sure you're staying right in the correct range for your macros and everything. But you're getting to that point of enjoy all those fatty coffees and all that stuff right now, because we're about to push in a little bit tighter and clean you up. So be ready, get going. We're going to do it.
So, and maybe it's a discussion for tomorrow, but when we are closing down the windows, you're going to start lowering the amount of fat in at the same time, or, I mean, what am I misunderstanding here?
Well, where are you at on your I have to look at your macros and see
My
where
macros are like 3,900 calories a day.
No, not calories. How much? What are your fat grams?
About 315, 316.
Are you hitting those every day?
No, because by the time I'm done eating, I'm missing out on a little bit because I get so full. The macadamia nuts, I'm just like, you're out of here. There's only so much. That's one of the hard things. One of the things I've really noticed is I don't like the OMAD where I'm eating so much at a single time. But with my job, I kind of have to, because it's not like when you're on the shop floor, you can just break out your lunch and just start eating while you're in your bay. So you got to I kind of stretch it out over the hour that I'm doing it, but I get to the end and I'm just full. And I had to force myself to chug down my hot chocolate drink that I make. And that was getting there. I was at the end of it all. So yeah, the macadamia nuts, which I think is maybe 20 grams of fat. So, I mean, very close, in the 90 percentile.
Well, we'll start playing with that. But, if your body is saying, who enough,
Listen to your body.
When you're starting to once you're fat adapted and you're getting those fats in and you've been doing it consecutively, and then we will talk about this tomorrow, you will start to back off that a little bit, because we wanted to go start looking for your fat. That's the goal here, is to have it start looking for your
pull
fat.
back on your.
So we'll start doing that, but we got to make sure those fat-based hormones are working and happy first. Then we're going to pull that back and kind of start see what your body does. If you pull back on your fats and it's like, oh my gosh, I have no energy, that's saying that fat is still locked in the cell and you're not getting access to it yet. We may still have fat. That's what I struggle with. It's the same thing. I can be fat. I can work on getting my fats up and everything, but when I pull back on my fats, my fat is still locked in that cell to where I struggle. I have to make a conscious effort to make sure I'm fat adapted. He'll kick right in. He will kick right in, drop fat like there's no tomorrow. He'll drop 3 pant sizes and be good to go. Some of us have more hormone issues that it's a little bit harder of a process, and it's a little bit kind of that teeter-totter. Like his will go and he will just launch into ketosis and run. I mean, you could tell his energy is up, his sleep is good, his sex drive is crazy. Everything just kicks in when his hormones are kicking in. My body's in slow motion. My body does that. Okay, I back off the fat and it's like, oh, maybe I'll give you a little bit, but nope, not enough. So you're going to learn that balance of pulling that back and forth. So right now, enjoy it, because we will start.
Yeah, I don't want to derail it to go too deep into the weeds on that. I don't know, 1 for this group and 2 just because you need to move on. But yeah, no, that's very interesting, because I'm trying to figure out how do you adjust chronometer at that point, and where do you? Your chronometer's going to still say you need 314 grams of fat, and you're like, Tammy says no.
Well, it's a jump.
It'll change.
You'll get there.
Things will change.
Because your weight's going to start going down, and then we're going to readjust your chronometer.
Yep.
So that's one thing.
Well, yeah, that makes sense too. Right now, the scale is laughing at
I'm
me.
with you. I got you.
Down a pound a day, up a pound tomorrow. Down a pound tomorrow, up.
But you know what? Most of us that do that, we are so guilty of putting so much fat in all day long. Our body don't have to go look for it. When I
Okay.
open up my eating window and I'm putting my cream back in my coffee and my butter back in my coffee, I'm using the fat I ingest. I need to clean it up and start pulling that back so my body will go look for some fat off my big butt.
So just stay the current status quo and we'll deal
We'll
with
get
it.
there, but
Okay.
Yep.
we'll get
Yeah,
there.
because no, I'm
Good
like,
job.
I could drop 30 grams of fat out and we'll just scale. Yeah.
But you can't drop that out till you know you're fat adapted.
Right.
Right.
Excuse me. So, good job. Good job. Babe. Come on in, Joe. Come and tell us how you're doing, hon.
How you doing, Uncle Joe?
How are you doing? We miss you. We love you.
Doing okay. Still trying to gain some weight back. Yeah, still haven't gotten my weight back up to where I need it to be.
Open that eating window and increase the fat and protein.
Yeah, and then I got pneumonia on top of everything.
Oh man.
Just
Yeah,
what your lungs need, right?
just what I need. But hey, is there some kind of cookbook or something I can get to show different meals or different things to eat?
Yeah, because when you start mixing a bunch of foods together, it derails your chemistry. So we're pretty much, people say, what are the recipes that you go by? You throw meat on the grill. I don't care if it's a burger. I don't care if it's a steak. I don't care if it's a pork chop. I don't care if it's a chicken breast. Throw your meat on the grill and add some fat. I mean, yes, there's some keto cookbooks out there, stuff like that. But for you, I want you eating all the dense nutrition you can get in you. However much fat and meat you can get in you, you should eat that till you're full. Till you're so full you can't eat anymore.
But see, that's what I was doing there before, and I got down to 148 pounds.
Open up your eating window then.
Okay.
The rest of us are saying we're trying to tighten our eating window to lose the weight. You open that eating window.
You may need 2 meals a day.
You may need 3-4 meals a day right now to get
I
you
only
through.
eat once a day.
Okay.
Then open that up to 2.
Open that up and get nutrition in you. Your body you're fighting. Anybody that doesn't know, this is my uncle, and we have a family that is just wretched with cancer. I mean, it's just like the curse of our family.
But I would definitely jump up to 2 meals a day.
Open that window up and consume the healthy fats and the meat.
I'd probably do an 8-hour window, man.
Yeah, because like I did my numbers the first time this morning, and it shocked the hell out of me. My DBR was something like 1152.
Yep.
And
that's the inflammation. That's the medication.
Yeah, because the last time I took it, my DBR was 50.
Okay, so that says what's going on in your body. Your body is fighting, and you're probably on steroids. You're probably, so that raises that glucose up. But that is what's going to tell you your numbers of how hard you need to be pushing right now. You got to keep that glucose down as much as you can, but you do that by opening up that window and keeping the fats and the proteins in you. Don't turn to the sugars. You don't want.
Watch them carbs, man.
I mean,
I know
that's hard right now.
Packs the weight on, but it's gonna pack the wrong weight on.
You want good weight. You want muscle. You want, you don't just. I mean, you'll put weight on, but it's because you're holding water again. You're inflamed again. You don't want inflammation. You want muscle mass. You want mitochondria. You want strong cells. You want to kick out. I mean,
I can go back on it, but I have kind of drifted away from it and trying to gain weight.
Yeah.
And because
be
I
careful
was
what
getting
kind of
too
weight
skinny.
you're gaining.
I was getting too skinny, too weak. And that
open it up, open your eating window, increase the fat, increase the protein, and eat. You should,
fat and protein.
that was the whole thing for years. For like 20 or more years, I've eaten 1 meal a day.
Yeah.
And I try to eat a second time, and it's like, no, I can eat 2 or 3 plates, and then that's it.
I mean, there's 2 rules of thought and the ways I would look at this. The steroids I know make you feel hungry and jittery and everything anyway. So that's a hard thing, but I would go one extreme to the other. Like even drboz, she put Grandma Rose on a fast. I mean, Grandma Rose fasted for 40 days on 1/4 cup of bone broth. But if you can't fast and stay in that realm, then at least keep your carbs in, or your fats and your proteins, healthy, good fats and proteins going in you, and just open that eating window up so you keep your muscle mass on. We don't want your body using your muscle mass as fuel. You know, I don't want you eating yourself. I want your body, you want to build muscle. You want to keep your body strong.
I am stronger now. I can get around
Good.
better and everything now. I don't get as tired as fast.
Yeah.
The only thing is that because of the pneumonia, I'm running out of air real quick.
Yep.
And I
Sure.
get up and walk. And I can walk from here to the kitchen sink, and my using oxygen, and my oxygen level will be down to 83. And so I'm fighting that. That's the biggest problem right now. But
Yeah.
like actually just getting up and moving around, I feel a lot better. And I'm not near as weak as what I was when I was down to 148.
Sure.
And
Yeah, because you're probably burning.
That was a
muscle.
drastic,
That
yeah,
was
that
a
was
big change.
big change. Plus you were fighting at the same time.
yeah, because I went from 192 to 148 in weight
Yeah.
in about 2 months.
Yeah, that's a pretty good shock to your system.
Yeah.
It is,
Well-
but the only thing I would caution you is just, there's one thing of building muscle and gaining weight, and there's another thing of you're just going to put on some inflammation. If you're just putting on inflammation,
That's not the right stuff
that's
to
not
put
the
on.
weight you're wanting to gain. You know, you
Well, I don't
want,
think I'm holding much water because God, I go to the bathroom constantly. Because I do drink a lot of water. You know, it used to be I drink coffee all day, sweet tea all day. Now I drink strictly water. I used to never drink water.
you've
And
got
that's
such
all
a,
I drink now.
you know,
Yeah.
anybody that's going through chemo, you know, it's a battle.
torture.
It's tough. And, you know, we've got some survivors in here that have been through it. And it's like, it is such a battle because the steroids make you feel like crap, make your glucose go up. You're in the fight for your life, Uncle Joe. I'm not, and I don't say that, you know, everybody says, oh, you're fighting. It's like your body is literally on the battle line. And it's,
Well,
you know,
I did get one bit of good news. When they
Good.
did the CT scan to see why all of a sudden, I was running out of breath so fast, and it found that all the cancer lesions were shrinking.
Yeah.
amen.
It did show up that all the cancer lesions are shrinking. And so that was good news that came out of it.
Good
Yeah,
job.
that's great news.
So good.
And, and then,
Hey,
but I go back Thursday.
Okay.
Yeah. I've got 2 MRIs and chemo on Thursday. Got an MRI on my brain to see if anything's, because I had to have a second round of brain radiation. And then so I go back for an MRI on that so they can see, you know, what little I got up there. And then for my spine and ribs, and that to make sure the cancer's staying out of them again. And but
just know we love you and we're praying
Yeah,
for you. And
Keep hanging in there, brother.
you got the fight going, but please just be careful with your sugars, please. Please,
Oh, yeah.
please keep.
Because you're gonna feed that. You're gonna feed that cancer.
The steroids are going to put your glucose higher than you can ever imagine. And you're seeing that with 1100 DBR. I mean, that's
Yeah.
exactly what goes on, but don't add sugar to it on top of that is the only thing I can.
no, I
recommend.
don't really eat sugary things anymore.
Good.
Yeah.
No fruit and
Once in a
stuff.
while, what I'll do is I'll have like a blueberry muffin or something like that.
Oh, that's all sugar.
Yeah, it is. But you know, like I take that mostly like when I'm after I take my medication, because I got to take like 14 pills at one time,
Yep.
and it seems like they get stuck in my throat, and so I'll take like a muffin or something to eat to shove them on down.
Get you a meat stick, get you a ribeye. Ribeye will push everything down, makes everything better.
All
Oh
right.
shoot.
But we love you. Stay
Love
you
good.
too.
That's what you're doing. Call
All
if
right.
you need it.
Bye.
We love you.
Love you too.
Any other questions over there? How we
Nope,
doing?
everybody's good over here on YouTube.
All right. Oh, any questions? Anything we're missing? Let me know. Get over on the group page and make sure everybody's doing that challenge. Fill your numbers in. If you're not checking your numbers, just tell us how you're doing. That's the accountability thing that's over there. If anybody still wants to jump in, we will be able to still get people in on the new coaching app And the cool thing about this app, whenever you do jump in, it's going to start you at day one, and you're going to get to go through the steps just like everybody else. So as the app grows and we put more things in it and learn more things, we're getting feedback from the veterans that are on right now. So it's really been a cool little thing. So I'm being able to add those things to the app as we grow. So this app is only going to get better and better and better. So it's going to be like having me in your pocket, where you can have an accountability check every day. So we're just going to keep filling it up and growing on it. And anything anybody needs, just let us know. We're here to help you. And stay over in the group, like and subscribe and all that good stuff. And we will talk soon if anybody needs anything.
Have a good week, guys.
Good week, guys.